I'm really good. I'm so glad to be here. I'm in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
This is actually Target land.
Okay.
This is where my sister Titi and I signed our Target deal. So I'm really happy to be here. It's a little nostalgic for me.
Okay, we're glad to have you. Thank you for coming. Can you please tell us about your legacy?
Oh my God. So my sister and I decided that we were going to specialize in curls, kinks, and waves. We stumbled upon it. It was bath time with my son. My son splashed all around, turned my straight hair to curly, started a conversation with our customers, and my sister and I decided that this was a wonderful opportunity for us to do what we do best. We're hairstylists, and we cultivated all different kinds of ways to care for curls, kinks, and waves. At the time, there were no curly puddings or baby buttercreams on the shelves of Target, so what did we do? We created it ourselves. It's been a wonderful journey because not only are we dealing with hair and speaking to women and giving them solutions for hair, women, men, children, we're also speaking to some esteem building. You know, it's not just something, our hair is an accessory, but it's a part of a full package. So just so proud to be part of that whole journey with women. It's been wonderful.
Okay, awesome. And I also read that something about your grandmother.
Yes.
Did she help you guys?
She helped us in so many ways. My grandmother was such a wonderful leader. She was a very resourceful woman. She was a single parent of 4 kids. She had one arm, and she ruled our family from her kitchen table. That woman was a delegator. And at a very early age, we got a chance to see what a boss looks like, especially a female boss. You know, we spent a lot of time around her. We spent our summers with her, and she was a wonderful cook. My grandmother could mix up anything from scratch. So when it came time for us to mix up our curly puddings and baby buttercreams from scratch, we referenced our grandmother, Ms Jessies Branch. So we were very fortunate to have her in our lives.
That's amazing. I'm actually a customer, so I do use Ms Jessies. So how do you feel about the transformation about, going natural and then becoming a businesswoman with your book?
So going natural in terms of our business, business direction, it's been the most amazing thing. We never dreamed that it would take us to where we've gone. You have to understand, when my sister Titi and I first came up with the concept to really focus and service women who had curls, kinks, and waves, a good majority of the women didn't even know they had curly hair. And that large group was of women of color. Many of us, including Titi and I, didn't know our kinky hair was really tightly coiled curls. That was a wonderful discovery. Titi and I cultivated and developed many techniques to support it, but we also came up with an award-winning product line. And so we're very, very proud to be able to have been a part of it. Business-wise, it just exploded just beyond our wildest dreams. So we're fortunate.
Yes, very. That's amazing. So were you initially, did you have a relaxer or did you transition?
Yes. So when I was very young, my mother used to straighten our hair from time to time. And then when I became a teenager, I'd gotten a relaxer, and I'd stayed with relaxed hair all the way into my 20s, all the way up until shortly before I had my son. And as I mentioned to you before, it was bath time with my son that really forced me to really have to embrace my natural hair. So my mother is Japanese American. Her hair is dead straight, and I always thought my mother was beautiful. So for many years, I used to try to emulate her. My hair was really different than hers. My sister Titi's hair was really different than my mother's because we had very kinky hair. But it was after having my son, I had to embrace what God gave me. So it's been wonderful.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I love it. So let's talk about more about your book. I don't want to spill. I know you don't want to spill, but could you please tell us a little snippet about it?
Oh my God. So this book, it's a wonderful journey about my sister and I and how we built our business from scratch. No money, no angel investors, no loans, just really slowly but surely building our business step by step, brick by brick. We used our God-given talent. We used all of our influence, whether it was our grandmother, our father. We even used the place where we grew up, which was Queens, New York. We came up during a time when there was a lot of just creativity. We were there when hip-hop was first born. So we saw a lot of entrepreneurs. So by the time it was time for Titi and I to start our own business, we had been so highly influenced by so many people. And we talk about that journey in this book. It's a bestseller. I'm so proud of that. But we talk about business through stories. I know for me, my attention span is extremely short. So I wanted people to really retain the messages, and there's a lot woven in here. So we tell, our story through stories. So we hear so many people like it. Yeah.
Me too. Let's see if we can pull up something from Twitter here.
Okay.
Just 1 second. We're asking questions about the hair.
Yeah. Hair is always a number one topic. It'll never get old.
Well, do you have any advice to give people that are trying to transition, or at least just some motivation that they can?
Yeah, transitioning for the most part equals patience. You have to have patience, Many women unfortunately don't know what God gave them. They've been relaxing for so long. So it's truly a transition, and to see yourself one way for so many years, it is going to require you to be to take baby steps and to give yourself a chance to adjust to what God gave you naturally. The good news is that once you finally get there, because it's a slow process, many of us are pleasantly surprised with what God gave us, and we love it. So I'm really excited for anyone who is thinking about transitioning back, and I just ask that they be patient until they get there. Yeah.
I know I find it difficult for even myself. When I first went natural, I'm just like, what is this? This
Yes.
cannot be life. And a lot of people that have maybe kinky or more coily hair,
Yeah.
they have a much more difficult time transitioning because it's just not that perfect curl.
Yeah, so when you have two textures that are dissimilar, it can be very challenging. You have a very kinky texture, and then you have very straight ends. It could be very challenging. So you're going to need to manipulate and do things with your hair, like maybe a double strand twist or maybe a spiral rod set. And you have to do so many things to really take your mind off of the two textures that are different. Another thing that women do is they get braids, during that time. It's a very awkward stage. Some women do slow cutting, and some women wear their hair straight and they simply stop relaxing. So those are ways, there's options, but yes, you're right. It can be a bit of a pain in the butt.
Yeah. I know it's very challenging.
Yeah.
So do you agree with the appropriate hair curl pattern? As for say like 4C, 3B, and how do
Yeah,
you feel
so in
about
Ms
that?
Jessie land, very early on when the categories, the hair texture typing first started to show up, because we were in the salon and because we were dealing with women face to face, it was hard to really categorize because we had the adjectives to describe to women what they have. We didn't have to put them in a 4 or a 3 or a C. We used adjectives like, your hair is very tightly coiled, your hair has a circular curl pattern, your hair has a Z pattern, you have no curl in this area, you have, more curl in this area. And all of those adjectives are arming these women with all of the description that they need in order to really get to know their hair better, and then also be able to translate that information not only to Ms Jessie, but to anyone else they would go to if they wanted to get their hair service. But it was really about an education, so we thought that the texture typing was very limiting, and also it was disappointing to some. Some people might have had aspirations for one category, and then to find out they were another could be heartbreaking, and that's not what transitioning and embracing your hair was about for Ms Jessie. It was about really learning what your hair is versus putting you in categories. So we didn't, we ended up not subscribing to that.
Okay, awesome. I love it. Well, we'd like to thank you so much for joining us at NABJ this year for our 40th anniversary. And we'd like to remind all our viewers to pick up Ms Jessie's book here. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Welcome. Thank you.
Hey.